Okay, so good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. A warm welcome from Inspire Forensics, a national level socio forensic organization founded on December 19, 2024. We are a student led voluntary educational firm working to build a strong community of aspiring forensic scientists across the country. Our mission is to create a platform for learning, sharing knowledge, and building valuable skills through collaboration and real world insight into forensic science. After much anticipation and excitement, we are back again to present a real life case study. This isn't just an event, it is a chance to step into the world of real investigations and understand how forensic science plays a crucial role in solving crimes. We invite you all to observe carefully, think critically, and actively engage with the details. This session is designed to give you a realistic glimpse into the journey from the crime scene to the courtroom. Now we're here again with a spine chilling case. Our team has been sending a lot of clues since the past week. So I would love to know, can anybody guess which case are we going to talk about today? If yes, let me know in the chat box, please. Okay, we had a guess. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to guess? All right, without any further delay, I would love Dhanush to please show the case.
Okay. So, good evening, guys. I think you all are doing good, right? So, we are again back with one more chilling spine case that is the Kerala Blue Drum case. So, let's start with it. Next slide, please. Yes. So first, let's discuss the case study in brief. That is the case history, you can say. So in January 2018, a chilling discovery shook the quiet Kambalam area near Kochi, Kerala. A blue plastic barrel had washed ashore, sealed and heavy, giving off a foul odor that quickly caught the attention of local residents. When the barrel was broken open, what emerged was horrifying. Concrete filled the container and embedded within it were skeleton remains of a human being. Alongside the bones were a few personal items, that is, a torn piece of cloth, 3 rupees 500 notes, 1 rupees 100 note, and a silver anklet. Silent fragments of someone's life, right? But the most critical clue came from the dip within the skeleton, that is, a metal screw and washer fixed in the left ankle, evidence of a past orthopedic surgery. The tiny screw, hidden in bone, became the very first link in uncovering the identity behind the skeleton and unraveling the dark story buried in cement. Next slide, please. So, let's discuss about the third turning point in this case. So, the turning point in this case came from an unlikely source, that is a screw. Forensic experts stressed the batch number engraved on the orthopedic screw found in the victim's ankle. This led them to medical records, which finally revealed the victim's identity. The victim was none other than Shakuntala, a woman who had undergone surgery years ago. But who would kill her and why? Investigators dug deeper and discovered that Shakuntala's daughter Ashwathi was in a relationship with a man named T.M. Sajit. Shakuntala strongly disapproved of their affair, especially since Sajit was already married. She had threatened to expose the relationship to his wife. Faced with the fear of public disgrace and family fallout, Sajid made a horrifying choice. He murdered Shakuntala and tried to erase all the evidences by sealing her body in concrete. But fate had one last twist. Before he could be brought to justice, Sajid died of a cardiac arrest later that same year in 2018. Justice was delayed but not denied because even in death, Shakuntala's body held the truth. So, sometimes it's not the witness that speaks, but the metal inside a bone can even speak. Next slide. Okay, so let's dive into the timeline based on this case overview. So, first of all, it's September 1st, 2016. It was a routine day which turns chaotic. Shakuntala meets with a serious road accident. She survives, and just 2 weeks later, she is discharged from the hospital. Life, it seemed, was giving her a second chance, but fate had other plans. September 16, 2016, a quite seemingly normal meeting, Ashwati sees her mother for what would be the very last time. Just days later, on September 24th, everything changes forever. Shakuntala is murdered by none other than T.S. Sajat. Time passes, the truth remains hidden, buried, until January 8th, 2018. A call. Locals alert the police about a suspicious abandoned drum in a field. What the officers found inside would unlock a chilling mystery. But then, a twist no one saw coming. On January 9th, Sajid, the man suspected, dies suddenly from a cardiac arrest, taking many secrets to his grave. And yet, the investigation does not stop. On January 11th, Dr. Umesh discovers something very overlooking, a tiny 6.5 centimeter screw and a washer locked in the left ankle. Small and almost invisible. But that screw would hold the key to everything. Next slide, please. So before going to this slide, I would like to request, I would like to ask some questions to all of you. What do you understand about the word evidence? Anybody? Be interactive, guys. Do mention in the chat box what do you understand by the word evidence.
It is the statement or an object produced by the witness in the court.
Okay, that's nice. That's a good try. Can you all say how many types of evidences are mostly found in forensic? Okay, many answers I got. Three. Okay, fine. So now let's dive into a very crucial part of this investigation, that is the evidences that finally helped crack the case. First is the currency notes, which were found. Here is something really interesting. I think you all know about the demonetization that took in 2016, right? Yes or no? Please mention in the chat box. Yes, yes. Okay, that's nice. So here comes the small detail told investigators that the murder likely happened around 2016. That is 2 years before the case actually came into light. That is 2018. Next, you can see that the evidence is the screw and the washer. Seems very simple, right? But this was a major breakthrough. Investigators tracked down the batch number and manufacturer's name. The name was Pitkar, a Pune based tool company. That's some smart detective work. Then there was a silver anklet, again, a subtle clue pointing towards the identity of the victim. Next come the hair strands. Can you all guess in which department we analyze the hair strands? Answer, guys. Which division of forensic deals with hair strand? Okay, fine. So basically, hair strands were also recovered. We got about 50-centimeter long hair strands, which hinted that the victim could be female. But investigators knew better than to jump to conclusion based only on this. Finally, we got the skeleton remains. After careful arrangement and observation, it was confirmed that the bones belonged to a female. Imagine just the small pieces of evidence, a screw, an old note, a hair strand, helping solve an entire murder case. Is it not fascinating, right? Okay, so now the further case study will be carried out by Manpreet Kaur, Head of PR and Social Media. Over to you, Manpreet.
Thank you, Shrija. Now, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the investigators for a moment. You have just found a sealed blue drum full of concrete with bones inside. No ID, no clear motive, just a screw in the ankle and a few old currency notes. What would you do first? Please answer, guys.
Try to identify the body.
I asked that if there was no ID and a no clear motive, and you have just found a sealed blue drum full of concrete with only bones inside, what would be the first thing that you would do? Yeah, to protect the crime scene, and the basis is the identification. That you will look for identification. And that's where the real detective work began. Police started by tracing that small but crucial clue, the screw and the washer found in the left ankle. Sounds like a small detail, right? But that one screw was actually the key to unlocking the entire case. They identified the manufacturer, Pitka, a company based in Pune, and found out that only 161 screws of that batch were ever made. Out of those, just 6 were sent to Kerala and only 3 were used in women. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Investigators checked hospital records and were able to account for only 2 of the 3 female patients. The third, well, you can guess, she had been missing since 2016 and her name was Shakuntala. But who was Shakuntala and why would someone go to such lengths to hide her body? Next slide, please. Well, as they started digging, police found out that she had a troubled family history. On September 1st, 2016, Shakuntala was in a road accident and was hospitalized. She was discharged on the 14th, but then came down with chickenpox, a double blow. That was the last anyone officially saw her. Investigators then looked into her personal life. Her daughter, Ashwati, had gone through a divorce and was in a secret relationship with a married man named T.M. Sajid. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think a mother would do in such a situation?
Inform the wife or maybe warn her child.
Yeah, exactly. She would want to protect her daughter, and for that, Shakuntala strongly disapproved of the affair and even threatened to expose it to Sajid's wife. Correct. And that's when everything took a deadly turn. Sajid saw Shakuntala as a threat. On September 24, 2016, he murdered her. But instead of panicking, he planned a cover up. He asked his friend Suresh for a drum and told another friend Mahesh that it contained animal bones for iridium making. Sounds suspicious, right? But not enough to alarm them. The drum was loaded onto a mini truck and dumped near the lake during the Onam season. Later, Sajid withdrew money from an ATM, which he used to distribute among his helpers, further solidifying the timeline. When police tracked his friends down, they said that they had no idea what was actually inside the drum. They were just helping him transport it. But the final piece of the puzzle came from a forensic and a banking data. The transcription happened on 26 September, just 2 days after the murder. Sajid died on January 2018 from cardiac arrest, just days before the truth actually came out. Next slide, please. Now, moving on to, let's talk about Shakuntala. Not just as a victim, but as a woman with a complex, painful life. Did you know that she wasn't even born into the family she lived with? She was found abandoned as a 6-month-old baby at the steps of a pond, raised by a kind woman named Saraswati Amma. She eventually married a man who ended up in jail for political murder. She raised her kids alone. Her own son committed suicide and her daughter eloped. And finally, she was murdered for standing up for what she believed was right. Next slide, please. Shakuntala's story is more than just a case file. It's a reminder of how every crime leaves behind more than just evidence. It leaves a ripple of human emotions, loss, and unanswered questions. Now that we have walked through the story and the timeline, it's time to uncover how forensic science became the true hero in this case. To explain the forensic side of the investigation, the real tools, techniques, and triumphs, I invite our brilliant co-member of the Inspire Forensics, Ms. Komal Sontake, to take the stage. Over to you, Komal.
Thank you, Manpreet. So yes, guys, please slide change. Okay, thank you. As you all can see, that blue plastic barrel was seems to be filled with concrete and the crown of evidence. Yes, let's see in the next picture. Next slide, please. So here the images where the evidences of the case are placed, like the human skeleton carrying skull and many of the bones. Like as you can see in the picture, like one of the bone was seems to be fixed with screw and the washer. Like let's see in the next slide what was that. Next slide, please. These are the forensic aspect of the crime. Like we will know how forensic really helps to uncover the truth. Identification remains. First, skeleton analysis. But before I proceed, I would like to ask you one question. So the question is, can you tell like in which division the skeleton will go for its analysis?
Anthropology.
Yes, exactly. So it will go for its examination in anthropology division. So in this case, the expertise they analyzed the skeleton in the anthropology division. They concluded that the remain belongs to a woman. So basically, to analyze, they use the bone of pelvic region to decide whether the skeleton is of male or a female. Secondly, the surgical evidence. The surgical evidence, a 6.5 millimeter screw and the washer was found in the left ankle bone, which indicates the prior surgical treatment. Now, I'm sure you guys are amazed at how a screw and a bone will lead to identify the victim, right? So let's know. The investigator traced the specific screw to many local hospitals. From one, they came to know that the same surgical screw has been implanted to another six. But on process, the investigator encountered the information about five, but they found that one of them, a patient, was missing since 2016. So, from where the name of the victim was revealed, that was Shakuntala. So, for its confirmation, the DNA testing has been done. Also, I want to ask you one question is can anyone tell like in which division the DNA go for its analysis? Can anyone? You may write in chat box also.
Ma'am, repeat the question.
The question is the DNA where in which division it will go for its analysis.
Biology division of philology.
Yes, exactly. It will go in division of biology. Also, we can say in DNA section also. So, in this story, basically, the DNA sample has been taken from the Shakuntala's husband and daughter, which confirm the identity of the remains. Right. So, we have gone through the forensic aspect of the crime, but TM Sajid ने शकुंतला को क्यों मारा that was also unknown. Like we will know what's the motive behind the scene. So the motive behind the scene was none other than familial discord, which means the disagreement within the families. So the story was like, as you know, Aswati, who was the daughter of Shakuntala, has an affair with T.M. Sajid, who already has a criminal background, and the Shakuntala, who was disagreeing their relationship to accept, as he was already married, and the Shakuntala also threatened to expose Sajid in front of her wife, which leads TM Sajid to kill Shakuntala. As you have seen in the image, like TM Sajid ने कैसे डेड बॉडी को ड्रम में पुट किया and how he dumped it into a lake. How horrified na? Next slide please. CB Tom. CB Tom, who was a police officer, also a film actor, he has the only officer who had led this mystery to solve. He was a vigilance inspector in Kasargod and has been appointed as DYSP. DYSP stands for Deputy Superintendent Police of Wayanad Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau. Also, due to his brilliancy, he was awarded with many DGP's badges for the best officer in 2014, 19, and 2022. Also, with the he was awarded in 2015 as he was one of the inspector who has solved the most sophisticated known as Sherlock Holmes. Next slide, please. So, yes, guys, these are the references from where we have prepared our slides and taken the content cases. Now, the session will headed by our member Pragna. So, over to you, Pragna.
Thank you, Komal. Can I have the next slide? These were the presenters for today's session. Shrija Chakraborty, the second SEM Forensic Science student, and also the head of recruitment in Inspire Forensics. Manpreet Kaur, second SEM Forensic Science student, head of PR and social media. Next, Komal Sontek, second SEM Forensic Science student, and is also a core member of Inspire Forensic Science. Now, I will be taking the word of thanks. As we come to the end of today's session, we like to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who joined us today. Your enthusiasm and participation made this event meaningful and successful. A big thanks to our hardworking team behind the scenes. Special thanks to Shrija Chakraborty, the head of recruitment, Manpreet Kaur, head of PR, Komal, the core member, for presenting the case, and Piyush for compiling the information and preparing the presentation. And of course, our entire Inspire Forensic team. Thank you for your passion, dedication, and incredible teamwork. This is not the end, but a step forward in our journey of exploration and learning. Thank you once again, and we look forward to see you at our next event. Thank you.
Thank you.